about you. Yeah.
What's going on, y'all? Curtis Smith here, Low Key Conversations. How y'all doing? How y'all living? How y'all feeling? Welcome back. It's been a long hiatus. Season 2 has officially began.
Woo!
Yeah.
All right.
I appreciate everybody that rocked with me throughout the first season. Have a co-host this season. You guys met her on the first episode of Low Key Conversations, my beautiful, lovely, wonderful wife, Colleen Smith. Let's give her a round of applause, everybody.
Thank you.
She will be co-hosting with me throughout the duration of this season.
It's going to be a great season.
It better be a great season. I'm trusting you.
Because I'm here.
I know. Fantastic. But yeah, now we're going to jump into it. Everything is still the same. However, Low Key Conversations is no longer available on Facebook. You can get your updates. See the shocked faces, it's beautiful. You can get your updates. You can get your posts and
Dun, dun.
everything. You know, still there is still a Facebook page for Low Key Conversations for the promo period, but it is exclusively a member of the YouTube family from here on. So Low Key Conversations. Instagram is there, yes, absolutely. Instagram is still, like I said, it's a promotional tool, but the shows themselves will air exclusively on YouTube. I just want to welcome my guests to Low Key Conversations for episode 1, season 2. I have Maddie, Mo, and Jessica with me here today.
Thank you.
This conversation was a long time coming. I wanted to get this conversation done during season 1, but scheduling conflicts and what have you prevented it. But I wanted to speak with a real couple that have real issues, real children, real world life things
Apparently
going on.
People out there that are fake.
We have known each other for a while. And I'm confident that this will be a very interesting. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting conversation. Gosh. So, I'm welcoming Maddie, Mo, and Jessica to Low Key Conversations. How you guys doing?
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for inviting us tonight.
Great.
Yep.
No, it's my pleasure. It is my pleasure to have you guys here. So, there are a couple of things, a couple of topics I want to touch on with y'all, but first and foremost, I'm going to be honest, I'm going to be candid. Okay, so I didn't foresee this dynamic happening.
Not many people did.
I didn't see this relationship. This was probably the furthest thing from
you
what
were
I
there
thought
for the
was.
making of it,
I
basically.
it was very low-key makings.
This was definitely not planned.
No, I know that.
But before we all start, you also have to realize that it also came to be when I looked completely different than what I do now.
Oh, hold up. Time out.
Perv.
Wait, no,
Listen,
wait. Now he's going to make me seem vain.
All right, so look, we're not going to... all right, so I'm not going to put this man's full government last name out there, but I and myself and my wife know him as Perv. Don't take that the wrong way. His last name absolutely
has that part of
yes.
it.
That
So
nickname.
Matt was actually the first one to figure us out. Do you remember?
I didn't know that.
No, the parking lot, and he was like, "Who's that white dude getting in Curtis's face?"
Oh, yeah.
At 7 a.m.
Oh, yeah.
At 7 a.m. on a Wednesday.
He was backing me up.
Yes, I was.
This is my dude right here. All right, so just real quick synopsis. All right,
I wasn't there for
My
that.
current, my wife now. All right.
Thumbs up.
Yeah. So there was an incident. We all used to work together at a cable company that will remain nameless because they're not paying me. So they're not getting no mentions.
I'm
but
surprised
they work.
I took my badge off.
Yeah. So we all used to work together. And there was an incident. I arrived to work very early one day, and there was just, this guy that was outside in the parking lot that didn't know that I was going to show up when I showed up, and he wanted to have words with me because his wife had a thing for me or whatever. So he wanted to have words with me.
Okay.
He had a thing. She had a thing for me. He tried to approach me. It almost got ugly. Matt intervened, and he had my back. So I didn't forget about that, but it was absolutely in the back of my mind. But now that it's been brought to the forefront, I do have a,
Vague recollection.
yeah, a vague recollection. I appreciate you having my back that day. Thank you very much.
No problem.
I didn't need it.
No, I
But I
understand.
appreciated
But,
being
yeah,
there.
Right.
Thank you
right.
very much.
No problem.
Because he was ready to
Absolutely.
ride. Matt was,
Oh yeah,
For some
Matt,
reason,
Matt was
Matt's
ready to ride for me.
always ready to ride.
Matt was ready to
it's
ride
literally,
for me.
it's been 10 years, and that's still very, I remember walking by to go get, now mind you, it was my daughter's car seat that he needed.
Yes,
my
it
daughter,
was.
who is
Yes,
13
it was.
now,
Yep. Yeah.
so he needed my car seat, and my friend was calling me. I was on a conference call, and she was like, "You need to get outside right now." And all I remember is walking through with the car seat, and you and him were face to face, and I walked by, and Matt was like, "Who's that white dude fighting Curtis? Like, what is he trying to do?"
Yeah, he wanted to stab me in my neck with a pen. He told me that.
Yep.
But
And I walked outside
Yeah.
real quick after that.
Yeah.
As soon as you told me who he was, I said,
Yeah.
okay,
I was like,
now,
that's my
shit's
husband.
getting real. Let's go.
that
Let's
definitely would not have happened. But the fact that it was even a thing, I laughed about it after the fact. I invited.
I mean, now you
I
guys have
invited.
cookouts together.
Yeah,
so-
we cool now. But I invited the conflict. I was like, we go by the train tracks.
No, you didn't, because you were like,
Yes, I
I look
did.
too nice today.
No. I did. I absolutely did that. I invited him to the train tracks. I was like, listen, we can go and have a conversation by the
That's
tracks.
like-
company
Like-
property.
we're not gonna go here in the parking lot.
where
we
I
can go
work.
over there. Where,
Exactly. I was like, we can go over there. This is where I work, but we can absolutely go over there and have a
behind
conversation.
Dunkin' Donuts.
And he was and he was like, I'm not going over there with you. I don't know what
But
that's
you have to
about.
also have to realize
so
I was also 300 pounds at that time, and it looked
You
like I
were.
ate
Yeah.
myself, so he probably wasn't inclined to go over there
let
with
me
this guy, the
let
big
me
fat guy.
let
so
me
it
also
was-
say this.
You were like, I'll take care of you.
I don't know what you did, but
Yeah,
I
let
want
us know
to
the secret.
congratulate you
Thank you.
on your fantastic effort and your results.
What'd you lose?
And keeping it
110?
off.
125.
125.
125. You're like a whole new person.
Yeah, you took like
lost my youngest child.
Exactly.
Yeah, you took a whole body. You took a whole person off of your body.
Yep.
How did you do that?
It was, to be honest with you, it was a doctor who looked at me and said, if you don't lose weight, you're going to be dead by the time you're 40.
Wow.
And I looked at him and I said, you know what? I have a son.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. I can't leave a child just because of the fact that I'm too much of a jerk and I think too much of myself to try and just keep doing what I'm doing because I'm killing myself.
Yeah.
So what I did is I started to eat different. I started to, do different things in my life to try to better myself to be around for my son.
Yeah.
You have kids, so you can understand, you can appreciate that you put your kids before anybody else in this world.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of what I did, and I would see results. And what I did is I put a saying up on my refrigerator.
Yep.
And the saying is nothing tastes as good as how skinny feels. And every time that I would feel that I wanted to eat, I would go to my fridge and I would see that saying on my fridge and I'd be like, you know what? I don't need that.
That's going to be on our fridge tomorrow.
And I would leave. And I would leave.
It wasn't
and
on
I'd be
my
like,
fridge,
"All right,
and I
cool."
lost weight too.
And for the first month, it was a struggle. I was literally on that struggle bus. I want to eat, I want to eat, I want to eat. And I'm not gonna lie, I cheated a bunch of times.
Yep.
But within that month, I started to lose weight. I started to lose weight, and I started to see the results. And I'm like, you know what? I would weigh myself every day, and I would lose weight, and I would lose weight, and I would lose weight. Another part of me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that helps.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that helps a lot.
Yeah.
And
You were
there's
like,
a lot more into that, and we'll
We
get
were
into
not
that as
together
no,
at the
we
time
weren't.
of his
We
weight
weren't.
loss.
We
He was
weren't.
with someone completely different.
Yeah.
But
And I was
I
not
had-
even talking to him at that time.
But you have to realize is when I first met her and I first saw her, she was pregnant with her second child out of 3.
Yeah.
And I looked at her, just like when you looked at Colleen, I'm sure, and you said, that's the one. Or you said, he's the one. I saw her the first day and I was like, that's
She said
the
it
one.
before I said it.
Right. So
I'm be honest. She
right,
did.
And that's fine.
Nah,
and that's
you-
cool.
I don't even mean. But you might have opened the
I was
can.
like,
you might
stamp?
you might
Okay.
have you might have opened the can there. I'm
Mine.
just saying. Listen,
Mine.
that may have been her.
Forehead stamp.
Exactly.
That shit
Like,
was claimed.
She did. Like
Name.
she claimed me. I know she did. I felt it as soon as it happened. I knew it for a fact. It took a little bit longer for me only because, like, it's no secret. We talked about it first episode. Like, we were both married at the time. You know what I'm saying? So you want to
Let's not condone that.
No, I'm not. Trust me, I'm not condoning that by any means. But at the end of the day,
Because he is not
happens.
for her.
But listen, you
Listen,
know
I'm
when
not
you know.
exactly.
That's the difference.
It's a whole different type of conversation.
No. We can have all those conversations, but you're right. You know when you know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't 100% content in my situation. I can't even call it a marriage. I wasn't content in my situation. I wasn't.
And neither
You know
was
what I'm
I.
saying? But at that point, I don't think I was man enough to say that out loud to my then wife.
And I agree to that.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't man enough to say that. I wasn't.
Right.
I wasn't man enough to just go to her and be like, "Listen, this isn't working out for me. It's not working out.
Yep.
So
Was
we're
it
gonna have
the
to figure
fear
it
of
out."
being by yourself, or was it just
Nah,
wasn't-
I don't
I
think
think
it was.
it was just-
Or
I mean, I'm not gonna speak for you, but I know you.
But she-
like, no,
I'm not gonna speak for you.
No, but
But-
you're like, I'm not gonna be that statistic, like breaking up my family and blah blah blah.
No.
Like, what I know in my situation, like my situation at the time, my husband came to me and was like, "Do you love him?" Like, I had the opportunity. Absolutely, I do, and he left. You didn't.
No, I didn't give. I didn't, and that was on me. I didn't give
100%.
my no. I can't say I didn't give 100%. I felt in my head and my heart, I felt like I was giving 100%.
Okay.
I felt like that 100% that I was giving wasn't being reciprocated, and then I felt like someone came along that appreciated what it was that I was putting, like just not even what I was putting forth, but who I was.
I think that happens in every situation.
You know what I'm saying? Like I felt like somebody came along that appreciated me for me, not the idea of what I'm supposed to be,
Right.
but appreciated me as a man, appreciated me as
what you could do instead of what you want, what that person
Exactly.
wanted you to do.
And again, like this is not to take anything away from, like I have a decent relationship right now with my ex-wife. I do. You know what I'm saying? Like it gets rocky. It absolutely gets rocky. But I feel like her and I, like she has her life. I'm happy for her. I want her to prosper and to be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like I would never do anything or say anything to
Negatively
to show any kind of neglect
Right.
or any kind of ill feelings towards her life. I would never do that. I want her to be happy. At the end of the day, she's the mother of my children.
Yep.
And
Right. If she's
And
not
all you
happy, your
want is
children
her
are
to be
exactly.
happy.
If she's not
Right.
happy, my kids aren't happy,
Right.
and then it's
You're not happy,
I'm not.
and
It's
then
a
it's a
domino
Right.
effect.
Yeah.
Right.
I want her to be happy. You know what I'm saying? Like if she's happy with the guy that she's with, then so be it. Be happy with him.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like exploit that for whatever you can get out of it.
Yep.
All the happiness in the world. Get that. I want her to have that.
See, there was a difference with me though, because you have to realize I got into a relationship with my ex-wife
Yep.
when she had a daughter who was 13 months old when I first met her.
Yeah.
And she didn't tell me that she had a kid for the first month that we dated.
Wow.
So then I found out
That's
she had a
hard.
daughter. Right. She found out she had a daughter. Listen, you have to realize, if you go into a relationship and you hold something over somebody's head for what they did prior
Before
to
you.
you,
Right.
then
Yeah.
you aren't any more of a dude than a 5-year-old. So I can't fault her for whatever
I
things
respect
that
the
she
hell out of
did
beforehand.
before me.
Yeah.
Whatever she did before me, I can't judge her on.
Exactly.
From me going forward is a different story.
Yep.
So I took her daughter on as she was my own. Whatever happened. Me and her, she got pregnant. We had a kid.
Yep.
He unfortunately passed away.
Okay.
So he was born. He lived for 5 months. He passed away. We buried him. 4.5 months later, she got pregnant again with my son,
Okay.
who I have now, who's now 13.
Who I met, and he's
Who I've met, yes.
fantastic.
But he also has an immune deficiency, so he is a sick child who, requires a lot more than what a normal child would incur. So me and her have our differences. We also come together. We put our differences aside to put the health of my son first.
Absolutely.
So
they do great together.
We have a different type of relationship than what her and her kid's father have, because they don't have to worry about their child getting bit by a mosquito and dying of triple E or West Nile virus or whatever the case may be. So it's a lot different. And
that's
the thing
a constant worry for you.
So I've been in a different place than what she has. So I try to give her all of the knowledge that I have to say, hey, look, you know what? Like, put your differences aside. Like, whatever. I understand that her and her ex's split is a lot newer than me and mine.
Yep.
So I try to give her all of the,
Support.
the support that I can.
Yeah,
and say,
but
hey, look, this is what's going on.
It's a completely different dynamic because of the fact that the way you are and the way she is definitely not the same mentality of mine and my ex.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Because
they have different worries than what you have,
and also it's a whole different. I mean, she's Italian, and we're Puerto Rican, and although it's different, it's
there's
a lot
some
the
similar,
same, but it's different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
But I think everybody's different, because I mean, I've said this to you, like, I wish that we got together on different circumstances where your ex-wife and I could have the relationship that I have with my ex-husband's wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Because my ex-husband's wife and I, she buys us Curtis Christmas presents. She's the one that I call.
Time out. I don't realize that I get Christmas presents from her until
Listen.
after the fact, until I open them. And then I open them and this is from Candy. How you doing? Shouts to Candy. Name drop.
So, but I have that relationship because, you know what, she's taking care of my kids half the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to respect that, because if I have something, half the time I go to her anyways. Like, Gianna has, an event or something, because I feel like we co-parent, but I feel like the biggest regret, and I don't like to use that regret, but the word regret is the fact that we started out the way we did because I feel like I would like to have that relationship.
Yep.
So we could co-parent the same way that, Wayne and Candy co-parent with us.
Yeah.
Yep.
Honestly, no, not for nothing.
But everybody's different.
You're right. Everybody's different, and everybody has different mentalities and, different cultures, and people feel, different ways about different things. I feel like if it were facilitated, I feel like a conversation could be had, and the relationship could be turned in a different direction. I've tried it on my own, and it didn't go so well, only probably because of the way it was presented.
I mean, the only time the relationship ever worked when we were both against you.
Yeah,
Wow.
No, that's facts, though. She's not lying. That's facts.
That was the only time
that
her
that's
and
the
I
only thing you could
were
agree
on the
upon.
same
they
we
teamed
were
up.
both against you.
They
Okay.
did. That's facts. They teamed up against me, on some email, text message.
But
I didn't know this, or I didn't know that, or I didn't know. And then that's the camaraderie of females. Period. If they
I haven't been there. I have
but I'm just
no
saying,
idea
listen,
what
that's the
though.
camaraderie.
You have,
that's the camaraderie of females. Period. If they both feel like they were being stabbed in the back and played by the same dude, that's anybody is gonna
And
be
we
on.
were.
And that's. I'm not even. I can't even deny that.
But you also have to realize, though, listen. But there's always three sides of the truth. There's her story. No. Hold on.
was lying.
No,
I was lying.
Her and I had the
hold
same
on,
story.
but hold on
We
a
had
second.
I was lying.
There's
Like
her
I
story,
can't.
that's his story, and that's the truth.
I
Nah,
have that
dog.
relationship
Nah,
with my
I was
baby's
listen.
daddy.
Hey, I was lying. Period. I was lying, and it was because.
But then that's on you then.
I have
100%
no problem.
it's on you.
I was lying.
Okay.
I have no problem saying that.
Player.
The issue is, it wasn't even about me being a player. It was about me being a coward.
Yeah.
I was scared. You know what I'm saying? Like it
Yeah,
wasn't
hold
even.
on. Give him props for saying that he was a coward. No, I give you all the respect in the world because
Yo.
it takes a lot for
Because
a man to
most
say that.
men
It
will be
wasn't-
like, have every excuse.
They would blame
But
everybody
you admit
else.
it.
I didn't want.
Right.
I didn't want that. Like you know how much work that was for me.
Yep.
Like I was terrified. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how to embrace what I wanted,
Yep.
but to let what I had know that it wasn't what I wanted.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like I didn't know how to.
Let go.
Yeah,
in the
no, it's
same-
not
and
even about
embrace.
letting go. Like I had already mentally let go of that,
Okay.
but I was too chicken shit to let my then wife know
No.
that
This wasn't for you.
yeah, like I'm not feeling this no more.
Why feel that way? Were you afraid of hurting her? Were you afraid of
I was afraid of
the new relationship failing and then
no.
losing the
I
original
knew
one?
in my head already. I knew that this was it. I knew that she was it. I knew it. It wasn't even about me questioning whether or not she was it.
So it's just the fact
It
of
was
you
about me-
hurting,
It was about me.
splitting up the family.
Exactly. It was about me disrupting my family.
And I think
Like,
that's
my
exactly where I
kids-
was at.
Yeah, like my kids
Yeah,
knew.
it was a while.
Yeah, like, my
before,
kids
like,
knew-
I even knew the kid. Like my kids knew him, but it was a while before I knew his.
Like do
My
you
kids
know-
would call
listen,
Matt Peter Pan. Are you
listen.
kidding me?
The hoops that I jumped through.
Oh yeah, there was many hoops.
There was ridiculous hoops. Like I didn't know how to present her to my children.
You.
So
And that's who you
yeah,
protected the most.
I didn't know how to yeah,
That's-
it was I didn't know how to present my children to my current wife. I didn't know how to do it. We went
Was this like years after you separated from your first?
yeah,
Years.
years, and I still
Years.
didn't know how to do it.
Really?
I'm like I've been labeled
You're
like,
a creature of habit, is what it is.
maybe that I've
And
been
you don't
labeled
like outside your comfort
I've been
zone.
labeled like the the helicopter dad, like the hovering father, like
Wait.
the protector, like not just from you. Stop. Like you're not the only person I've heard it from.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Because I'm like,
I'm overly overprotective.
But as far
of
as
my
I'm
children.
concerned, though, that makes you
Like
a
in-
better dad than.
Not always.
It does though, because
Not
you
always.
put your kids first before you
I
or
do.
but you
anybody
cannot-
else.
Right,
The
I
way
do.
I
then
see
you're
it,
have to do
crowding
that.
your kids.
Exactly.
You're
I'm
not
hindering them
giving
from certain
them-
things.
It's
your
not hindering
true
them.
self.
It's
Right.
protecting
That's what
them
I was
because
saying,
they're
like-
so young.
no,
That's the difference.
okay, but
if
then
they were older, if
I
they were
hear you.
in their
No.
their if they were like 11, 12, 13, that would be different.
yeah.
But they were younger than that at that
Yeah,
point.
but
Okay, but
my
so
issue
are
was
mine.
my issue was this. My issue was when does it
But you
because
were open with your kids.
Exactly.
With him.
like Jess said, I'm a creature of habit.
Yep.
So if my pattern is protection of my children,
Yep.
regardless of how old they get or how mature they get, I'm still gonna treat them like I treated them from the beginning.
Right, but you have to listen.
You know what I'm saying?
When,
So-
when,
Why
when I,
hold
but,
off so long in introducing
but hold
them?
on a second,
That's
because
just-
it's different. Because of the fact
Because
that you
I don't
don't
know-
want to
Situation there.
introduce
Because
a
I
woman
didn't
into your
know
kid's life.
I didn't know what the reception was gonna be.
Right.
I was
The
afraid.
children's
yes.
Yes.
So, listen.
the kids' reception, because like I
So-
said, they know mommy and daddy, same roof, one big happy family.
Right.
Then all of a sudden,
You don't want to disturb that.
daddy's
Right.
gone.
Right?
Then all of a sudden,
Daddy
Dad's
got a
daddy
new
got a
girlfriend.
new girl.
Right.
Then daddy's new girl don't look like us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like there's so many dynamics that I had to take into consideration. I was terrified.
Overthinking it.
But you also have to
Way
realize
overthinking.
too is the fact that
Maybe.
I had when I split from my ex-wife, and when we split and we were done,
You were married?
as I was married.
Didn't
Yep.
know that.
Yep, I was married. I got married when I was 25.
Okay.
So when I split from my ex-wife, I had what I called, I made a 90-day rule. So my issue was whoever I got into a relationship with
In a relationship,
I
with,
had to make sure
not
that it
relations
was
with.
something that was going to be okay with me, and that I had 90 days from that day, and then at that 90th day, if I
sound
was
like
still
Steve
with
Harvey
that
right
person, no, but it was really though. But like,
Do
no,
not
like,
give the cookie away.
but for nothing. But like, I
Nah, I
made
hear you.
sure
Go ahead.
that I
not
didn't
a, that's
want
not a
to
bad thing.
introduce.
it's like a trial.
I didn't want to introduce 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 women to my
Yeah.
son
Yeah.
right away. Like, if this was going to be it for me and for my son,
Yeah.
then at the 90th day, I was
Yeah.
like, okay,
It's the
now
child's
I can
perspective.
introduce my son
Yeah.
to this woman because I'm not introducing him to
a bunch of-
multiple
Right.
women
Yeah.
because I don't want him to turn out to be me. Like,
Yeah.
I want him to be better than me.
I get that.
Respect.
Like, you as a dad can understand that you want your son or your daughter to be better than you, and you can understand that you want your son or your daughter to be better than
Right.
you, and you don't want to introduce them to a multitude
Right.
of men and
No,
multitude
no,
of
Yeah.
women because
we
you
could talk
wanna
about
make sure
that.
it's
Like, I mean, we had a break. We had a couple year break, and I remember
It was a few years.
we were in relationships with 2 other people, and my oldest daughter called me out
I
on it,
was
and she
only in a
said,
relationship with one other person.
All right,
I don't know
whatever.
what you're talking about.
"Whatever."
It's not whatever.
But-
Let's be clear. If we're gonna throw facts out there,
But I'm
Let's
saying,
throw facts.
okay.
I
so
was in a
we
relationship
took
with
a
one other
break.
person.
Okay.
Period.
So, anyways, I was in a couple. I was explorer.
All right, I wasn't.
you were
But
Dora. You were Dora the
She was
Explorer?
Dora
I
the
was
Explorer.
Dora.
Yes, sir.
I was trying to find someone that measured up to him. Obviously, I
Trying to
didn't.
find the right boots.
Okay.
But the last person that I tried to find to measure up, my daughter, my oldest, called me out and she said, "You don't want to be with this person because you're just trying to find someone to replace Curtis."
Now, let me ask you a question. How did that make you feel?
Who's interviewing who?
How did that make you feel? Like,
It's
you know,
called a conversation.
Maybe
I
It's
know.
all the way around.
I know.
Listen,
That's why I said it. I wanted to
it
be put
made
out there.
me
This is a
feel
conversation,
like
not an
It made
interview.
you think, right? It made you,
No,
made you think.
it made me call Curtis.
Good. and the
She didn't call me.
All right.
you called her?
She didn't call Tyrone.
Okay.
I don't. Oh shit. For all I know, all of them dudes they were all Tyrone. All of them dudes was Tyrone.
There was no Tyrone.
No, they were all Tyrone. All of them. Everybody you was with was Tyrone.
Anyway.
We'll label that. They were all Tyrones.
I think I hit a button.
I have nothing to
No,
say.
you didn't hear the button. That's how I look at them.
Hold
Like
on.
I've seen these.
Did Tyrone
I
hit a
know
button?
these dudes.
That's the question. Did Tyrone hit a button? Obviously not, because
I know these dudes. Like I've seen these guys. I had a face-to-face confrontation with one of these guys. Could have got ugly, but I'm a decent guy.
Yes, you are.
So
Yes, you are.
they were all Tyrones to me. Like that whole
Okay.
that stereotype is what they were for me. They were all Tyrones. At the end of the day, is this: we had our break. I wasn't happy. She wasn't happy. We split.
You need to do your own
She
thing
went
at
her
that
way.
point
I
in
went
time.
my way.
Yep.
Lessons
But-
learned.
Say that again.
Huh?
Holla.
I don't know what that was, but
We don't know either.
lessons
That was
learned.
Tyrone.
Yes, lessons learned. I thought I was happy. I'm not even gonna lie. For a little while, I was happy, and then I started to recognize certain things in the relationship that I was in, and it was like, this isn't really where I want to be. This ain't who I want to be with.
So I get that because after I left my ex-husband,
Yep. You were married too?
I was married.
What the
too.
hell?
were
So
both
I was
married,
with
yeah.
him
What's
for
going on?
All four of us
5,
were.
maybe 6 years,
These
even
secret
before we got
marriages.
married.
I didn't get it.
And then we were married for about 1.5 years, and then we got divorced.
I got no invitation whatsoever.
So,
Neither
okay,
did I.
my parents,
Neither one of you.
I mean,
my
what was the
parents
point?
wasn't even at my wedding. Okay, I got married at the last 30
I mean,
minutes on
nobody
a
was at our
Sunday.
wedding.
Nobody was at our
We were
marriage.
like-
Nobody.
We were like,
We didn't have a wedding.
I do.
I got a lot
I'm gonna
of
go back
crap
to
for
work
it.
now.
Yeah. Nah,
You got
I
married
did.
the last 30 minutes of a church service on a
On
Sunday.
a Sunday, like
Wow.
I literally walked in with a white, my normal white
Oh.
church dress,
Oh, so nobody knew.
and
it was just a
nobody
surprise.
at
It's like
all.
a baptism.
So you was like, nah. She was like the
You're
end.
like, hey,
she
I'm
was like
gonna
the
get
end
married
credits
now.
of a Marvel movie.
Literally,
like she
at
was-
the end of service, everybody was like, "Okay, well, we're just gonna put these two marriages, these two
You were
people
the end
married."
credits
We're
of a
like, don't
Marvel
that was
movie.
it.
yet. Don't get up yet. Everybody sit.
My mom wasn't there. My dad wasn't there. There was no like party afterwards.
Yeah.
There was nothing. It was the last 30 minutes of Sunday afternoon.
So you just had a bunch of guests that weren't invited.
Literally after I got married, I went to the hallway and I cried because none of my family was there. And I felt like I did it wrong, and I know I did it wrong.
Yeah.
But at that point, like, my thought was, I was a Christian.
Yep.
I was brought up to, right, wrong, or indifferent, you're supposed to stick by your man. Him doing dirty on me, turn a blind eye, you come home, whatever. At the end of it, I got sick of it.
Yeah.
There's just so many times you can do me dirty, whether I caught him, I had proof or not.
Yeah.
For me, I felt like when you take my car at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night, and you don't come back in time for me to go to work on time, there's something wrong there. So I did it wrong when I got married to my ex-husband, but at that time, it felt like, I need to do this for my children. This is how I was brought up. Whether he hits you, whether he cheats on you, whether he's provided for you or not, in God's eyes, you need to stay there because you made a commitment.
Yeah.
But then...
For better or for worse.
Exactly. So I get that whole point where you felt like, leaving and going, like, I get that point, what you're talking about.
I respect everything that you just said. I do.
But
no, there's no but. There's no but. I absolutely believed in the sanctity of marriage. Right. I do. I believe in it. I do. Which is why. But you did
it for years because
no.
We've had that conversation. Like, I don't want to get married. I fucked it up the first time. We're not going to get into this. No. But we're never going to get married.
I think you misunderstood what I was saying. I believe in the sanctity of marriage, which is why I was hesitant to get married again. Because in my head, you do it once, that's it. If it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. Right. It's not meant for you. That's it. So it wasn't about me not wanting to marry you. It was, I already did this.
Right.
And I wasn't good at it.
And I fucked it up the first time.
Right. Exactly. Yep. So I'm
we
not
had
doing
that conversation.
Again.
I remember we were down here and we had that conversation.
Yeah.
And I said to you, it's not fair because you're comparing two different situations. You're comparing two different people. I want to be able to look across the room and be like, that's my husband.
But there's a difference. Hold on. But there's a difference because that's how you're feeling.
Yeah.
His feeling is, I fucked up once.
Yep.
I don't want to fuck up again.
Exactly. That was my
That's the difference.
It had to,
and it's hard to me. If we're going to do this, I don't care what happens. You are stuck with me for the rest of your life because I'm not doing it again.
I'm not.
And that's real talk. But that's real talk because I fucked up once. I don't want to feel like I fucked up again because I don't want to put the burden on anybody else again because of what I did the first time. So.
And I truly believe it. I do because I see the change in him. Because, I mean, there's been years, he'd be like, we get into an argument. Right. He's like, fuck you. I'm out of here.
Facts.
Like
you guys have a lot of
pack
history.
Up his shit and he'll leave. And now we get into a fight and he's like, "Fuck you, I'm out of here," and he comes downstairs.
But you guys have a lot of history, just like me and her have a lot of history.
That's just part of growing up.
Exactly.
That's just part of growing up because he knows that.
Let me ask you a
just
question.
because you're having an argument right now,
right? You're not gonna throw.
10 years ago, Curtis was naive and ignorant and be like,
you know what, fuck
you, I'm gonna just go, dip my stick somewhere else.
Exactly.
But now it's like, I have too much invested.
Right.
Yeah.
She's good to me. She does this, and just because we're arguing right now doesn't mean that I'm just gonna throw all that out.
So let me ask you a question.
But then here's a flip. Go ahead. I'll let you ask your question. Go ahead.
What's the age difference between you two?
A year.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's 7 years.
There's 7 years between me and her.
Yeah, I did that. Didn't.
But here's the difference.
You guys are good.
We're good because of where.
Well, no, my 6. I had
a whole lot of patience.
Mine was 6 years. It wasn't 7, but it was still. It's a lot.
But see, mine was. I was 79. So my ex-wife was 3 years younger than I was.
Yep.
So she's a lot younger than I was.
Yep.
But then again, you also have to realize though, she was a single mom of 3 kids. So she might, but she doesn't.
Maturity.
You are not supposed to be dropping
But she
numbers.
doesn't have the
age,
mentality
right?
of a 1-year-old. She is a lot older than what she is.
Yeah.
I'll be June if
Let
anybody
the girl be
wanted to
29,
know.
right?
All right?
The crazy thing is,
The 19th, I like presents.
and she's June 19th. I'm June 17th. So that's the thing.
Wait, you're June 19th?
I'm June 17th.
You're a Gemini?
Yeah, we're both
June
Gemini.
18th.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're the second
So
one?
I'm June 17th.
Oh my God,
June 18th,
get out.
I'm June
Both of you.
19th, and I'm a twin.
17, 18, 19th. That's crazy.
I'm a Taurus. My birthday is in 6 days.
So,
Happy
birthday!
birthday!
Happy
Yay.
early birthday!
Happy
early
birthday. We sing this song to you.
Stop.
So it was different with me and her because she's a lot older than what she perceives herself to be, even though
Because
at
she's
times,
lived.
'Cause I got my
because she
shit.
has life experience.
She
She doesn't. She feels like she's younger. She wants to go out. She wants to go dance. She wants to go clubbing. She
didn't
wants to go
have
do
my
that because she didn't
20s.
have that.
Right.
So
Neither
I
did
try to
I.
give that to her as much as I possibly can. But in the same aspect, she also has the
No, we
flip side of the
don't.
coin where she's like, "All right, I'm a mom. I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm having a good time.
You feel guilty.
So what do I do?"
I do.
You
So
do.
she feels
and
guilty.
I understand that. Like
Yeah.
I didn't have my 20s.
I hate
you know,
that.
like
Yeah.
my third
This
child I
entire
had at
conversation
25.
line.
Yep.
The first time I ever stepped foot in a club was with him. And I was 30 years old. Like that was the first time I ever went into a club because I
I hate
had
this
my kids.
conversation.
Was that the
19,
Nouveau concert?
21 and 25.
No.
You know, so
Listen.
then you feel guilty. Like
So the whole, I hate that so much, and I'm gonna be honest. Like that whole, I felt guilty about going out and blah blah. Like that was like the first nail in the coffin that murdered my first marriage, because.
I'm over that feeling now.
No, I'm just saying.
Just let you know.
But look, this is
just want-
all right. So my perception,
I
and again, like I said, nothing. Like I, my ex-wife, fantastic person, adore her, fantastic person.
Same for me.
She
with
is.
my ex-wife.
She is. She's fantastic. But in regards to the marriage, it was. So I did music for years. Like that's how I met my ex-wife. Like I met her through Clep. Shout out to Clep.
Clap, yeah, clap.
I met her through Clep. You know what I'm saying? And he introduced us, and somehow our relationship blossomed, and it was great. She went to all of my shows. Everything was fantastic. But then, like, when our relationship got really deep, and then, we had kids, and we got married, it was like, I didn't slow down. Like, in my head, my music was the providing force.
You want to keep going.
For my entire family.
Right.
Along with the fact that I loved doing it. You know what I'm saying?
But to her, it was like a phase, basically.
I don't know if I can't speak for her. I don't know what she thought. But once we got married and we moved in together and everything was our life, it was, I want to go, but I can't go to the show. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Her or you?
No, her. Like, I want to go to the show, but I can't go to the show. Or, no, yeah, okay, we'll go. I'll be there. And then it was last minute. I'm tired, or I can't find anybody.
But would she blame the kids, or was it that she
No,
just didn't
it
wanna
was.
go?
She never put the blame on the kids, not by any stretch. Like, that never what it was. But for me, it was like, if you wanted to be there, you'd be there.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's just me being selfish. I don't know. But in my head, it was, you knew what it was that I'd done since you met me.
Right.
I don't know if you thought that this was a phase, or you thought that this was something that I wasn't really taking seriously, but you've seen how much time, energy, money, sweat, blood, tears I put into it. So now why is it, I can't, I gotta do this, I can't, I gotta do that, I can't, I'm tired, I can't, I don't have anybody watching kids, I can't. But then, and it wasn't just about us not going out, it wasn't just about shows, it was like us going out, anything. But then it was like, once we broke up, once we split, once we separated, that's all you do. So then it's like, was it me? Like, did you just not want to do it with me? Like, that's what screwed my head up. And it took me a long time to really recognize and understand that she was just trying to be a mom. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was doing what she thought she needed to do as a mother.
Right.
I'm not supposed to be out clubbing, partying, hanging out, going to shows because I got babies at home.
Right.
And then that had me second guessing myself, like, damn, well, am I not supposed to be doing this because I got babies at home? So that all screwed my head up.
Right.
At the end of the day, now, I think she needed to do what she needed to do for her. I needed to do what I needed to do for me. And now, collectively, we're just parents.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For our kids, we're parents.
Because at that point in time in life, like, you were in a different spot, she was in a different spot. You need to do what you need to do. She needed to do what she needed to do.
Exactly.
And now I've gotten that out of your system, and now you compromise and say, hey, look, here's where I am, and you can kind of work out your differences. And now you say, you know what? I'm going to put my differences aside. Yeah. She's going to put her differences aside, and now you're going to come together to work for the kids, and that's kind of what it is.
Like I absolutely, like I said, like she's doing her, and I'm happy for her.
Yep.
And, like, I just sent my son off to his senior prom.
Good. Congratulations. Yeah, good for your son, senior prom.
Shout to Brian. What you had before, man.
Like, shout out to him.
I didn't even get any pictures.
No, I took a few.
All right.
I took a few.
Yeah, but you're supposed to go to the, his date's house and take pictures with him.
He didn't have a date.
He went dolo?
Yeah. Well, it was a bunch of them. They all went. They all.
I went stag.
Cluster of friends.
Yeah, they did that.
Good for them. Good for them.
That's
good for
okay.
them.
That's all right.
Awesome. That's
See,
even
but now
better.
my worry is, and this is my show. I say what I want. So after prom, they rented a house.
They did?
Yeah.
After party.
Yeah, it's an after party.
But here's the thing.
No, he's not coming home tonight.
But hold on.
They're not coming home.
She just found this out right now.
Well, you've been gone all day. Like,
and I need to
express
this to you. But I need to express this to you because you have a son.
Made sure
So there's a difference
with him.
Yeah, there's condoms missing from
There
the
you
drawer.
go.
But hold on. So
Finally.
From your drawer.
No. There's been condoms in that drawer for like 2 years. I'm like, what the fuck are we using?
2 years.
So you handed your son expired.
No, they're not expired. I checked.
We already have one
2020.
grandchild.
2020. They expire in 2020.
So hold on. So here's the difference.
What?
You have a son, right, who went to a prom tonight.
Yes.
You only have to worry about one penis. If you had a daughter, you have to worry about all of them.
I have a dog. I have 3 of them.
Right, but they're not going to the prom tonight. So
No,
you don't
not
have
tonight.
to worry about one
No,
tonight.
but they went to the prom,
Yeah.
and now we have a
And
grandchild.
now we got a grandchild.
That's you.
That's us.
That's us.
Granted, it's
that's
you.
both
Yes,
of
I
them
get it.
because
I get
it's
it.
one
And listen, she's
household.
beautiful. Not for nothing.
She is adorable.
You met our granddaughter.
I
She
did.
was talking
to me.
You
was
talked
so
to her
cute.
today, and she smiled for me, and I was like, kind of like, hey.
Yeah, she gave him like the
She's
crazy
the
girl.
Yeah, listen, like she's got kind of like the caramel complexion, so like she smelled at me, and I was kind of like when I saw
saw how
her
he did
first,
this,
I was
right?
like, you know what, hey.
Caramel right
Yeah.
here.
And that's gonna be
There's
the
no
next
caramel.
topic.
There's
that we
She-
talk
frog
about.
belly
She's
wet
got a
here.
nice
Let's
little
talk about it,
tan.
so,
My
yeah.
son was like, she cheated. How'd she get mixed? Why is she got
He's
a
just
tan
mad that
already?
he's
She
not
has-
gonna get a good tan, and he burns.
Okay. So now let me ask this.
Oh boy.
Let's talk about blending.
No, it's not even about blending. I'll get to that. But let me ask this. Have you guys run into any issues, bumps, given the fact that it's you're Puerto Rican and
I think his father's
You're-
the only
you're-
one that has an issue
you're
with
a
it.
colonizer?
So there's been a couple of
That's the first time I've ever heard.
So you had to go there, right?
Yeah, I
All right.
did.
Okay, cool. So let's go there. That's fine.
colonizer.
So
I don't even know.
I think I've been pretty low key so far. So
Yeah.
so let's go there. So
No, you
all
can
right,
take
so
it.
Let's go there.
so let me talk about a couple things real
This is
quick.
where
so,
I start smacking him.
Stop.
So
Let the man speak.
Wait.
Let him talk.
there have been a lot of looks, sort of say, that I have gotten since
Like-
I've been with her. Whether
But
it
is
be,
it because you're white or because she's gorgeous?
What you trying to say? He ugly?
No. I think.
What you saying?
I think it depends
Wow.
on.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
Wow.
like
I think it's
because
depending
you're
on
not
where
ugly.
we are.
You're just
Yeah.
a
and
normal.
looks do
You're
kind
an
of have.
average Joe.
So
I'm an average Joe. Is
So-
basically,
so
and I
take this for
agree with that.
example.
All right,
So-
go ahead.
we go every year for a week to the Cape,
Yep.
and for vacation.
Yeah.
Now, I've been going to the Cape with my stepfather, which is white,
Yep.
for years.
Shout out to Jeff.
Shout
Shout
out
out
to
to
Jeff.
Jeff.
Hold on,
Jeff.
shout out to Jeff.
All right, go ahead.
So I'm used to going to the Cape, having my stepdad there. My mom, she's darker, so she looks more Dominican than Puerto Rican. But we're a darker family with a white guy.
Yeah.
So we got looks.
Yep.
We go with Matt. We still get those looks, but I'm used to it.
Yeah.
But if we were to go to
Hampton Beach,
a more Hispanic
Yeah.
area, he would definitely get looked at.
Yeah.
More than I would get looked at, be like, how did this white guy get with this Puerto Rican chick?
Yeah.
You know? Or, like, we go to the Cape and, like, why did this white guy get that shit?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of looks that we get.
Yeah.
At this point, I'm like, I don't really care because I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever. Him, it still bothers him.
Yeah.
One, not only because he's lost 125 pounds, so now he's getting attention from not only males but females that would never look at him before.
Yeah.
But now he's getting attentions from guys that are like,
Yeah, like they want
that don't look right.
Yeah, like they want to test.
Right.
I've run into that, and
I'm pretty sure you have.
No. But look, time out. Like, I don't. Okay, so in the dynamic of our relationship, no one has ever.
Rewind.
No, in the dynamic of our relationship, no one has ever, and I welcome anyone to ever question our marriage. No one has ever done it. Like,
No. Let's be clear.
Time out, stop.
I've
Listen.
seen an
Let's be
episode
clear.
about this
Stop.
before. She's
Let me
gonna
finish.
cut
Let
it.
Let's
me-
be clear.
let me finish
when
my thought.
Somebody called me
Can I
a
finish my thought?
phase that
Can
you
I
were
finish my
going
thought?
through.
Can I finish my thought?
Okay.
Let me finish my thought.
All right.
In public, in person,
public.
no one has ever come to me and said anything to my face or given me a look in regards to our situation. If they have, I've never seen it. I welcome the invitation to have a conversation with me about my decision to be with my wife and raise.
We'll get a
our
lot of
children.
looks, but we won't get any like comments.
Yeah, it's never happened.
No.
It won't happen because people, that's what people do. They do like that undercover.
Yeah.
Let's just talk
No,
about
it's
it.
what
Like,
it is.
like people are pussies nowadays. Let's
Exactly.
just
Like
talk
no
about
one
it.
is
Like,
gonna
that's
come to
just
me and
basically
say
what it is.
anything,
But
No.
they'll come to me. That's
and
the
you
thing.
don't tell me.
No, because we had this with somebody who is a member of your family who came to me
And said what?
and told me that I was a phase
Oh,
that
she's
you
talking-
were going through.
This is
No
low key.
names.
No, we don't say. I won't say her name.
that
I won't
was
say.
a
I won't say her
that
name.
you were going through.
I won't say her name, but she's talking about my mother. Like, I'm not gonna say her name, but she's talking about my mother.
Shout out to Curtis's mom.
Yeah,
Woo!
shouts to my mom. Dude. Like, I love my mother to death. I love my
And
mother
I
to
love
death.
your mother
Like,
to death,
I know
but-
you do, but it's.
But at the same time, after 10 years, when the fuck is this phase gonna end?
yeah, I get it.
Like,
It's
you know?
But
Wow.
okay, at the end, look, it hasn't been said for a while. It hasn't.
No.
And it's been.
But the congratulations when we got married was not to me.
What are you talking about? You
It
were
was
in the room.
not to me.
You were in the room when she said it.
Yeah. I
Right,
was in the
'cause
room. You said, I have to tell you something. And she said, either you guys got married or she's pregnant.
But hold on a second. Let me ask you a question. How long has it been since you've been married?
We've been married for,
Almost 2 years.
yeah.
Do me a favor.
But,
me-
You need to let that shit go.
but listen,
You
it's
know,
been 10 years 10 years ago I was called a face.
but he did, but listen,
Like-
but listen. And I'm gonna be honest with you. My mom's dead. My mom died 3 years ago. Okay,
Didn't know that.
and that's fine.
I'm
And
sorry.
thank you.
never
I
get to
appreciate
meet
it.
her
So
before she did pass.
my-
That's one regret I have.
you need to realize
Right.
his mother is his first girl. His mother is right to die, and his mother's gonna
And
be
I
there for.
understand
And
that.
hold on, let me finish.
Okay.
Please let me finish my statement. His mother didn't like his first wife.
No, that's
No,
not true.
hold on,
That's
stop.
not
This-
true.
Give
That's
me
absolutely
1
true.
second.
No.
In the beginning, yes,
Give
it
me
is.
Okay,
1
in the
second.
beginning?
Yes, it is.
Hold on. Okay.
Like, I've never brought a
In the
woman home that
beginning.
my mother liked.
Right, because that's what a
Ever.
mother's supposed to do. A mother's not supposed to like any woman because any woman cannot compare
To herself.
Her. when it comes to her son. Okay?
Nobody's gonna take care of my
and that's
kid the way
straight
I
facts.
take
I'm
care
gonna
of
spin
mine.
it straight facts to you. So regardless,
I mean, I have a son. I get
right,
that.
right.
But
And so you have a son, so you can appreciate that. You have to realize you came in between his first love that his mother ever loved, that his mother first hated and then appreciated after he got with her.
Yep.
So now that you got with him after his separation between his ex-wife, you have to work twice as hard. So she's gonna hate you twice as much.
Yeah.
And you have to work twice as hard, so you can't hate that woman.
I don't.
And trust me.
No.
And I'm not saying you do. I'm not saying you do. But when your son does the same thing, watch what happens and reflect, and you're going to see how his mother reacted to how you felt, and then you will appreciate that 10 times as more.
Listen, I understand how his mother felt. Like, as a mother to a son, myself, I understand. I can tell you the very day, like, that whole situation happened. We were in Atlanta, and we were at... And listen,
Eat fresh.
him and... So me and my now mother-in-law were sitting there, and we were eating because her appointment got canceled, and he was at work. And she said, so, I just want to ask you, what made you feel like you could go after a married man? That was the first conversation that she ever had to me. Like, with me.
Okay.
So I had a conversation with her, and she said, I'm going to tell you right now, you and my son will never last because you are a phase that he is going through. He needs to go outside his marriage, go outside his ethnicity.
Yep.
And figure out
Hold on, ethnicity, right?
Whatever.
Okay, cool. I
Had
just
a lot
wanted
of
to make sure that
vodka.
we were all okay.
Tomato, and figure out
like, I've
where
had
he
a
needs
lot
to
of
be.
vodka.
But I can guarantee you this is not going to last.
Okay.
And I told her, I respect what you're saying, but I can tell you that he is my best friend. And he is the one person that I know that I can count on, and I don't see this ever failing.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Are you your mother's only son?
No.
Nope.
I was for a long time.
You were for a long time. Yeah. So let me tell you, the mother's bond between a son and a daughter is completely different based upon what I know. And the only reason why I can say based upon what I know is because I was my mother's only son and I was the youngest child. And my mother, before me and my ex-wife got married, my mother said to my ex-wife, why do you want to marry my son?
Did she say that to Jessica?
My mother
never
died
met
before
her.
my mom ever met Jess.
That's one regret I have.
So my mother said to my ex-wife, why do you want to marry my son? And my mother literally sat and talked to my ex-wife for 5.5 hours about why my ex-wife wanted to marry me.
Right, and I respect that.
Right, and that's fine. But you have to realize the mother...
But I never got that, is what I'm saying.
But
I got right off the bat.
Because you're going to.
You
because
got
of the
negative
fact
right
that
off
you
the
got
bat,
negative results. Because of the fact
his
that
mother, but that's all
his
on,
mother had the
again,
first
that's
whole
all on,
thing with the daughter.
It's
like,
all on racial.
I
Unfortunately,
don't think race has anything to do. No,
It is.
Honestly, I don't think.
But my mother-in-law was like, okay, well, that's my daughter-in-law. To this day, I guarantee you that, like, his ex-wife is her daughter-in-law before I am her daughter-in-law.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, my sisters, my two older sisters, still have a closer relationship with my ex-wife than they have with Jess. Right now, to this day. And my sister said in front of Jess, your ex-wife is more of a best friend to me than Jess is right now.
But my ex-mother-in-law, God rest her soul, was like a mother to me. Like,
because you were the first girl. Hence
but
the
wasn't.
No.
That's what I'm saying. But I wasn't.
Hold on a second. Was your
ex-husband
ex-husband married before you?
No, but the girl he was with before me is now his wife.
No, it doesn't matter.
It's a different.
So he went in a circle?
Marry.
That's my baby daddy.
He didn't marry.
What? Hold on.
He didn't marry.
What just happened? Hold on. Time out.
Circus.
All right.
That's the difference.
Refocus. All right. Listen.
You have to realize your mother grew up in a different age than you grew up in.
That's true.
And his mother grew up in a different age than what you grew up in. So the thing is you have to realize there's 3 different factors. You have a first love.
Right.
Your mother grew up in an age where, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, that meant something to your parents at that point in time. That meant something to his parents at that point in time. When you got married to your ex-husband, that meant something different to you, but your mother looked at it as, oh my God, this is still my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm still feeling that. For richer or for poorer meant something for me. And his mother said, oh my God, that means something different for me. She's still bringing that back. So that's the reason why your ex-husband means so much more to you, to your mother, than he means to you. Right. And that's the reason why his first wife.
My issue was the fact that I was a phase.
All right.
That is the problem.
Because she's still hurt because of the fact that he got divorced from his first wife.
At the end of the day, listen, this is what it is. Whoa. All of that dynamic, that interaction between you and my mother, it had nothing to do with you. That was on me. None of it had anything to do with you. It was the presentation of it.
That was his decisions that she wasn't happy with.
Not exactly. It was the presentation of it. Had I have done everything properly, had I split from my ex-wife, had I taken the time away from that situation,
if he got divorced before he got with you, then you'd be okay. Then you'd be accepted.
Had I courted you,
right?
Had I brought you to my mother and introduced you after an extended period of time,
right?
Yep.
No, and I understand
then
that.
it would have been more receptive. You can't just expect.
But she didn't blame you. No, she blamed me.
Because she's not going to blame me because
that's her
I'm
son.
Her firstborn baby.
That's her son.
She's not gonna blame me.
She's not gonna blame him.
Although, her and I did have that conversation when we lived in Atlanta.
And we slept in the car.
And I looked my mother in her face. Yes, that happened.
Yeah.
I looked my mother in her face and I told her, you may not agree with my decision. You may not like it. You may not ever accept it. But this is my life. Decision. This is my girl. This is what's happening.
Yep.
Accept it or don't, but it's not changing.
Yep.
I told her that. Even before you told me what your conversation was, I told her that. So I already had your back against my mother.
You did. You came down to the car with your pillows and blankets, and you said, if you're sleeping here, I'm sleeping here.
So we don't have to go into all
So at this point in time,
that's a great story.
So at this point in time, at the end of the day, he had your back.
Absolutely.
So listen, his mother was his first ever love. And he chose you over anything else. Right. But he chose you over anything else, which says a lot. So let me explain to you a little bit about me and Jess. Okay? So I'm going to bring you back.
Do I need
Jessica,
you need to keep drinking. You need to keep drinking too. So
this is water.
You have to realize the first ever time that I ever brought her around any of my family was the day that my niece got married. Okay?
You got a niece that's old enough.
I have a niece that
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And that's a topic for a whole nother day.
Okay, we'll take that.
So I brought her around my dad's side of my family. So the day that I brought her around my dad's side of my family, I introduced her to everybody, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, she's so beautiful," which she is. Goddamn, I feel like I'm one of the luckiest guys in the entire world because at the end of the day, I can say that she's mine. Like. The smile, the chin, everything about her. Whatever.
The
okay,
smile
so
and the chin.
Getting back to
it's
it.
just
So
from here down.
It's everything. But like y'all can see from here down to
right
about here, so we're good. So listen, and I'm gonna tell you. So and here's what kind of pisses me off. So I introduced her to my dad, and I said, "Hi, Dad. This is Jess. Blah blah blah."
But hold on. At that point, we were not in a relationship. We had nothing sexually going on. We were friends.
Your dad hearing this now?
No,
Jeff hear this? We had nothing sexual.
No,
this is not even Jeff.
This is fact.
My family.
This is fact.
I'm just kidding.
So at my point,
I was a heavy hottie at that point.
My mentality was he needed a date to go to a wedding, and I was his date.
Okay.
And that's where it ended.
He was 300 pounds at this point.
No, I was about 240 at that point in time. So that
Stop. A 60 pounds difference. It's not close enough. Let that man live.
yeah, thank you.
I considered Matt my fat friend.
Oh my
At 240.
That's rude as shit.
That's what it was.
That's
Me
rude.
being vain, naive, or whatever you want to call it. Being
She was still married
or whatever.
In whatever, so I can't blame her for
had
that.
a son. I had a daughter. I saw him as my relationship wasn't going great. I needed a guy's perspective in order to work on my marriage. And he was my fat friend.
He's that guy.
He was that guy.
Wow.
Like, he was literally like...
I've been that guy.
He was my fat friend. Like, you know, you're like my brother.
Yeah.
And then...
Yeah, I've been that guy.
That's where we were.
Yeah, I was that guy.
But anyway, what did your father say?
So I introduced her to my dad, and I
Great.
said, "Hey, Dad, this is Jess. Blah 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 blah. This is exactly what his words were to me. What nationality is she?
Oh my god.
Oh, Dad, she's Puerto Rican.
So I said she's she's Hispanic, and his next words to me were, "She's Hispanic." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh man, you gotta watch out for them Hispanic women because they're fertile."
What?
Yes. Now, mind you, he thought he was whispering, which he wasn't.
Yeah.
And at that point, I was ready to go.
Yeah.
So hold on. No, hold on.
Because
Give me 1 second.
one-
Give me 1 second.
Go ahead,
Give me
go ahead.
1 second.
Go ahead.
So then my nephew came over and said, "Hey, here's my wife.
Yeah.
She's Colombian."
Okay.
And my dad said, my dad looked at my brother and goes, "What's up with this side of the family? They like all the dark meat."
Wow.
Yep. And at that point, I got up and walked to the bathroom.
Hey.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, so I'm all for anti-ignorance, like absolutely 110%. However,
I'm not about anti-ignorance. Like, that's an asshole statement.
listen,
Times 2.
You can't let people come up certain
But
ways,
hold on a
man.
second. You also have to realize.
No.
And I'm not making excuses for my father. My father was born in 1933.
Period.
So
That should
my
be the end
dad's-
of the conversation.
No, it should not
Yes, it
be.
should be.
No.
You can't change somebody's mind after that long of a
Get it.
period of time.
I get it. And I get it. And
But
I
you're-
get it.
you're-
But you also have to realize too, like you and me and her are also growing up in
I thought I
a
was
world where
grown. I thought I was
it's
grown. I'm
You're
done.
not done
no,
growing.
we're still growing up. Like,
I'm
and no, you have to realize
I'm
because the
grown,
world is
motherfucker.
no, because you have to realize the world is
Now I hear what you're
changing
saying.
day
I get
after
it.
day
Yeah.
after day
Like
after
honestly,
day.
I hear
So-
you. There are still some things that I struggle with, like
Okay.
some newly introduced things within the last 10 years,
Which I do too.
that I still struggle
what?
with. However,
Me too. I want to know.
Hold on. That's for
Stop
a different topic for a
Stop.
different
No.
day.
that's
We got
absolutely
time.
Listen, no, we don't, Jackie. Stop. Listen, I still struggle with certain things that have come to light within the last 10 years or so.
Me too. Me too.
But I'm still open to, like,
Right.
I'm
But that's the
receptive
person
to it.
you are.
I'm
His
more
father
receptive to
is
blended
not.
families. I'm more receptive.
All right.
Like, listen,
I
if you're
said
gay,
over the past 10 years, this man was born in 1933.
Whatever.
Yeah,
It's 2018. You're not converting him.
So he gets the racist ticket?
It's not happening.
no,
He absolutely gets the racist.
no,
he
he
does.
does not.
Yes,
no,
he does.
no, he
Yes,
does
he
not.
does. Yes, he
There's
does.
no
Just because
reason
he was-
for racism.
Just
No,
because he
there's
was
no.
raised in that
No. All right.
error
Okay.
does
No.
not make it okay for him to verbalize.
I never said that it was okay.
But that's
No, it absolutely makes him okay. How old is he now?
So
Yeah.
33,
Roughly.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so 85.
All right.
hitting 90.
You're not gonna tell an 85-year-old man that he can't say something.
Yes, you can.
No, you can't.
No, yes, you can.
You could tell him,
It's
but
not
whether he listens or
okay.
not is up to
So-
him.
Oh, you can absolutely
Can
tell
I
him.
ask you a question
That's not
though?
gonna happen.
Did he have any effect on you growing up? Like because that
he was
his-
never
No.
there.
Yeah, Matt.
My dad my dad.
Are you racist?
No, hell no.
Oh, he's not racist. He just hates everyone.
Listen.
That's him.
Everyone.
So let me explain something to you. So my dad was never there for me. Like, I was what I consider a convenience child to my dad. Whoa. So
that's a loaded statement.
Right, it is a loaded statement, and I mean a lot by that, and that's another thing for another day. So, and we'll have another low key conversation about that.
Yeah,
we're definitely coming back.
Okay, so next time we do it at 8, right?
Sure.
So we'll have that conversation, but you have to realize, like, my dad grew up in a different era than what we grew up in. Yeah. But it's not to say that it's okay for him to say what he says, because it's not, because you have to realize, like, things change on a daily basis
but people don't
in America.
Right.
But the thing is just because of the fact that you say
But I can tell you,
it's the people that are willing to change that'll change.
I was never allowed to say, but my mother was raised by a black woman.
You're not allowed to say.
Like, my mother was raised in a foster home.
So,
but listen, in 10 years.
Don't give a shit.
Listen.
You're married to a black guy, still not allowed to say.
But in 10 years, listen, babe, listen. But in 10 years, have you ever heard that word come out of my mouth?
No, because you
not even as a friend to friend.
Because you know.
Right.
Like, that's just be honest with you. That's just you know.
My mother was raised in a foster home by a black woman.
So
she was raised to know that that word was not a word.
It's not an okay word.
Right.
So when
it's not an okay word.
Yes,
so when I was growing up, and my mother would hear someone use that word, it was absolutely not acceptable.
Right, but now here's the difference, though.
But I tell my kids, I don't care if it's a fucking song. That's not acceptable.
It's not.
But hold on. But there's two
connotations.
And I get it. But there's two connotations of the word now. There's Nigga. No. And there's Nigger.
But not if you're white.
Right. And I
but
get it.
Not if
not
you're
to
white.
Say that any one of them is different, because you don't get
and it's not even
to say that.
Whether you're black or white does not mean that it is okay to say the word. The word is ignorant no matter what. The word was created to minimize the persons that.
Hold up. I am the only person at this forum that can speak on this word, and I am going to.
I would never say that word, and whether it be the ER or the A, I would never say it.
Good job, way to go.
Never.
You'll stay safe that way.
Yep. Yeah. Whether I say safe or whatever, like that, there is no reason to say that word now. Ever.
I'm out. I'm going to put it out there.
I once had it on a license plate with Tigga on it, and it was still not okay.
Wait a minute. Can I ask a question, though?
Am I ever going to get this thought out of my brain?
Hold on. Let him say this. Let him say what he got to say, because he is... Yeah. This is his topic.
Nigga, Nigger. You can't say it.
No, and I would never say it.
You can't say it.
Right.
I could possibly get away with it.
No. Hold up. Time out.
My question.
Let me finish.
Why is it okay?
Let me finish.
But why is it? Hold on. Hold on.
Finish.
Hold on. Before you finish, let me ask you a question.
No, you're not.
You can say it, which is fine.
Now from afar.
All day.
All day.
Because you deserve the reason to say that. So let me ask you a question. She can't say it because of...
No,
hold on. Because
she can't say it because she's white, period.
Right. And I can't say it because I'm...
white.
Right.
Period.
Why is it okay that she can kind of say it?
No. I was kidding.
No,
you weren't.
I absolutely was
kidding.
You
gave me that look like you could possibly get away with it.
First of all,
I did that for the cameras.
Let me ask you a question.
You can't say it, and at the end of the day, bottom line is this. You can't say it. Nope. You can't say it.
You shouldn't be able to say it either.
Listen, we're not having that conversation right now.
Nobody should be able to say it.
No, I absolutely can say it. Anybody that looks like me can say it.
I don't think so.
You know why?
Because
no, stop. I'm gonna let it be known right now why we can say it. Because the colonists were able to say it for a very long time, and it was meant to be.
Look at me like a colonist.
Yes, because you are. Not by choice. Not by choice, but you are. Like, let's be real. Like, we're married. I love you to death. I die for you.
You're
period.
still white.
That's just it.
That's
but you're white.
what it is.
That's it.
It doesn't mean I was a colonist.
No, but your ancestors were.
My
That's it.
ancestors
Babe,
came from
listen.
Ireland.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day,
They came on the boat too.
you are the brightest person on this panel right now. Like, that's just what it is, babe. Like, I love you.
The contour.
You know what? I'm not fucking with you. Listen to me. I love you to death. I would die for you. Your complexion means nothing to me as a person. I don't care.
Not always.
I don't
But when
care.
the N word comes out
I
of
mean,
it,
when
the
I'm
color
trying-
is complete.
When I'm
what do you
trying
do?
to fry
Not always.
chicken, it
Yes, but you heard
matter.
what you said? When you're trying to fry chicken. You didn't say when I'm frying chicken, so there's a big difference. You understand what I'm saying? In regards to me as a person, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I love you. I don't see color when I look at you. I don't. I see a beautiful woman that I chose to give my heart to. That's it. That's all I see. That's all I see. But when it comes to
The N word.
the N-word, when it comes to the culture, there's just some shit you can't do.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
Which I
There's just some shit you
totally
can't do.
agree. I totally agree. Even as a friendship, like I've always said,
That's
like
friendship.
no, you know, like
With the A at the end.
like people will say, you know, as a camaraderie. No, I don't think that's even.
Yo,
It's
if
not
ever
okay.
if ever I saw you, stop. If ever I saw you walk up to Carmen, shouts to Carmen. If ever I saw you walk up to Carmen and was like, "Hey, what's up, my nigga?"
But listen,
No.
I'ma bust you in your stomach. I swear to God,
but
we
Carmen,
fighting.
Like, listen, this is what Carmen says, right? So Carmen, actually, shout out to Carmen.
Mm-hmm.
The other day, she was watching some show, and she's like, "I'm fucking sick of white people." And I Snapchatted her. I was like, "Hey," she's like, "Listen, we all know that you are not white on the inside the same way Kathy's not Puerto Rican on the inside."
Listen.
Shout out to Kathy!
Shout out to Kathy. What up? I don't know who the fuck Kathy is, bro. What up?
So,
This is what I'm saying. This is all I'm saying. I can use the word. Anybody that looks like me can use the word. Why? Because it was used against us
Right.
for such a long time that we have found a way to make it ours. To the point where the people that were not nothing against you.
Nah, I got
But
it.
they all
I
look
get it.
like you.
Yep. Nah, it's
The people that were allowed to use that word against me
you. Yep.
can't dare say that word to my face.
You're right.
I still
Right.
think it's
That's
whether
fine.
you're black, you're
That's
white,
fine.
you're Asian,
And that's
you're
your
whatever.
perfect-
It's
that's
still
your-
not acceptable.
that's
for
your
me.
and I feel
personal-
the same way.
That is your personal preference,
Just
but
like
at the
you
end
don't
of the
call a
day,
Hispanic a spick, you
are you
don't call a
listening?
white
Exactly.
person
I
a
don't think
cracker.
I don't think I ever used that word before
Exactly.
in my life.
I'm just
At the end of the
saying.
day, listen. Everybody that looked like him was able to use that word against everybody that looked like me. Now, they can't do that. Because if they do that, it's a problem. And it will be a problem. And it will continue to be a problem.
Can I
and that's
say
the
something?
end of it.
But can I say something?
But hold on a
could.
second.
But how about
You
like,
could say something.
But give
you
me
can't.
2
Time out, wait.
seconds.
You can't.
You could say something if we had more time. But we ain't got no more time.
Oh.
We ain't got no more time.
Wow.
That's the time.
This
That's
definitely
it.
gotta happen
No,
again.
that's the time. But y'all are definitely
Because that's
coming
why
back.
I'm the co-host and he's the host because
Yeah.
he can
What you
cut
talking?
the shit short.
What you talking? You want to be
Just
the host
like
of the next episode? You could be the host of the next
be
episode.
the
I'll be the
host of
co-host.
every
I'm gonna still take over.
episode.
Whatever.
Of
Hey,
course you will.
listen. This is what we do. All right. This is not an interview. This was a conversation amongst friends.
Low key.
A low key
conversation.
conversation because
Yes, it
these
was.
conversations. Yeah, exactly. These conversations don't happen. Everybody is so focused on these.
Look at.
How you doing?
She's got hers out.
Everybody's so focused on these
I mean,
that nobody
I have
does
kids
this
upstairs.
anymore. And this
My
is
kids
what,
are upstairs too.
This is what low-key conversations is about. Getting people together, sitting down, enjoying each other in drinks,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
having conversations.
Keep that tongue in your
That's what
mouth.
we do. We have
is?
conversations. We have face-to-face interaction,
They're about to tongue each other.
conversations. We pick each other's brains. We understand each other as people. Not internet, not online, not digital. This is real talk.
Face to
real
face.
people, face to
Right.
face.
Yep.
Thank y'all for coming through. Thank y'all for stopping in. Thank y'all for checking us out.
Thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys can continue to follow, subscribe. That was beautiful. Make sure you get that. That was beautiful. You guys can continue to follow on YouTube, continue to follow on Instagram. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Talk, have conversations. Love y'all. Check y'all soon.
Drop the name. Drop the name. YouTube on what?
Low key
Find me
conversations.
on
There you go. Matt.
Low Key Conversations.
Everybody knows. It's hashtag Low Key Conversations.
Everybody knows
Low Key
that.
Conversations on YouTube. Low Key Conversations on Facebook. Low Key Conversations on Instagram. And if y'all have your suggestions, your input, anything, you can email us at lowkeycombos@gmail.com. All right? I'm Curtis Smith. That's Colleen Smith. You can go ahead and say what you wanted to say because I was about to sign off, but she wants to be a co-host, so I'm going to let her finish.
I just want to talk about the podcast that's coming up, When All Else Fails.
When All Else Fails podcast. Yeah, let's talk about that. Hold up,
So-
real quick.
All else fails. Yeah.
Go ahead.
So look for that coming soon, and you'll get to listen to me talk about when all else fails.
Yes. When all else fails, you contact Colleen.
Exactly, because I've
That's
been
it.
through it all, and we'll talk about
Because she knows everything about everything. All right,
Thank
we're
you.
signing off. Thank y'all. Enjoy the rest of your night. Peace.
Bye.